more of that in a little bit. All right, good morning. Good to see you all here. Yeah, definitely some faces we haven't seen in a while. Nice to have you back. And good morning to all of you who are watching us online. Please have a little chat in the chat. Say who you are. Say hello. How are the book studies going for all of you? We're in the process of a book study. Yeah, you get into some good, juicy conversations. Get into some uncomfortable places. I hope so. That's how we grow, right? So I think I'll just do a really brief recap of the last 3 weeks, the last three principles of this book that we are looking at. Does anybody have a copy? I forgot to bring mine that can hold it up. Mary, I think you have a copy there, if you can twist your head around. This is the 5 Principles by Ellen Davenport. And we're taking a chapter a week. We're on week 4. The first week, the first principle stated that God is absolute good everywhere present. The second principle sort of added to that, which is because God is all that there is, we are individual expressions of that one infinite divine, that one absolute good. And then the third principle builds on that by saying that because we are expressions of this one infinite creative mind, that we're a continuation of the creative process. And our thoughts and our feelings and our vibration, our energy is creative. It tends to create our experience in life. So that brings us to principle 4, which builds on that. And this is that prayer and meditation are the tools that we use to experience our divinity and to live our full divine potential. So having tools is helpful in kind of making sense of some of these concepts can be really abstract. So we want to make it practical. We want to bring it into our lives and make it practical. Otherwise, it's just theory. So that's what this principle does, makes it practical. And actually these are practices, these are tools that spiritual seekers have been using in different ways from many different faiths from, the beginning of time. Unity has a unique perspective on it, and it's one that I find makes the most sense. These wonderful tools. Now, what's interesting that Davenport doesn't talk about meditation much in this chapter. Her focus is mainly affirmative prayer. But because I am a long-time meditator, I've been meditating for over 35 years, I know firsthand the benefits of meditation. So we're going to be talking about meditation. Definitely. And we were just treated to this amazing, sort of a shamanic twist. Oswaldo gives us a little shamanic taste of his guided meditations. There's so many different ways to do it. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Meditation is really, I think, first and foremost, a way into the silence, a way for us to really ground in the silence and to experience the silence long enough so that we can experience who we truly are. So we can experience that divine presence that we are, that we experience that we are the presence, we are the love. It gives us the experience of being, of pure being. There are many other benefits of meditation. Hudson, if you would bring up that slide for the live streamers, and we'll just talk about some of the benefits, which, first of all, meditation helps us identify all of those crazy thoughts that are running through our head all day long. They're always there. It's just that when we're in the silence, we notice them, and we notice them big time. So some people call this the monkey mind. You've heard that before. I call it the puppy mind because, come on, How many people have raised a puppy? You know what that's like. They're over here getting into trouble. Then they're over here getting into trouble. And then they're chewing this up over here. And then they're peeing on the carpet over there. And then they're eating your food over here, right? They're all over the place. But you can train a puppy. This is the purpose. You can't live if you don't train that puppy. Well, the same thing with meditation is it trains the puppy mind. Sit, stay. You know? So I think of it as the puppy mind. Another benefit of meditation is that it helps us identify the ego and discover what it's up to. It is also one of the best ways, I think, ever invented to relieve stress. It's a big way, big, beautiful way to relieve stress. And many physical benefits from that, right? It lowers our blood pressure, lowers the heart rate, lowers cortisol, which is the stress hormone. It's also been shown to lower cholesterol. It improves our memory, improves our creativity, improves just basic brain function. Having a meditation practice helps us to be less emotionally reactive. You know, it helps us to be present, be more present. It helps us to open our heart so that we can experience more love, more compassion. Meditation helps us realize that this is something that, as Walter was saying, we are not our thoughts. It helps us realize we are not our thoughts, we are not our feelings, we are not the ego. Meditation helps us realize our oneness. We experience our oneness. You know, we're piercing that veil of illusion, the illusion of separation, and we're experiencing oneness with a whole, oneness with Source. Charles Fillmore says about meditation, which he refers to as the silence, he says, the silence is a state of consciousness entered into for the purpose of putting each person in touch with the divine mind so that the soul may listen to the still small voice. So how many of you have a meditation practice? Or maybe you had a meditation practice at one time, but it kind of and if you're watching on the live stream, please put into the chat if you have a meditation, or maybe you did at one point. Good. I'm glad to see so many hands up. Hang on a second. I just need to get a little water. There are so many ways to be supported in our meditation practice these days, right? There's literally an app for that. Lots of apps. I've been using one the last couple of years called Insight Timer. And you know what? You know that? Yeah. And you what it is, you can set a chime to go off at certain intervals. And when that chime goes off, I know for me, 50% of the time, you know, my puppy has been running out here chasing a ball out in the field somewhere. And it gives me an opportunity to go, come back to the breath, come back to the mantra, come back to the experience of peace, whatever it is. Helps me bring it back. There's one called Calm. I know that's being heavily promoted. You know, a lot of people have got that one. Mindfulness meditation is an app. Headspace is, I think they have like meditation classes in that one. So lots of different ways. Actually, Unity has been creating these beautiful meditation. It's like a video with a guided, you know, she's very soft and she gives affirmations, and it just really helps get you to the right place. So here's what I'd say about the guided meditation. A lot of people like guided meditations, is that you use that as a prelude. That gets you in the right space for meditating. But you do want to turn that off and be in the silence, because that's the benefit of being in the silence. Right? want to have that experience of the silence. Of course, you can always just go in a quiet room, close your eyes, begin to focus on your breath. It's simple. That's the thing. Meditation is simple. In fact, it's so simple that the ego wants to overcomplicate it. Oh, I gotta light my candle. Oh, I need an altar. Oh, what do I need to put on my altar? Oh, I gotta get the right pillow. I gotta have the right app. I've gotta carve a lot of time in my calendar, and I don't have a lot of time. Right? So you see what the ego's up to. Doesn't really want us to meditate because we'll discover what it's up to. You don't need any of it, just a willingness. That's all we need is a willingness. You don't even have to carve out that much time if you're just starting a meditation practice or restarting a meditation practice. 10 minutes. Everybody's got 10 minutes, right? That just 10 minutes a day can do a world of difference. Make a world of difference. The thing is consistency, right? It's consistency. So whatever the time that you're doing, 10, 20, an hour, whatever it is that you've committed to do, find a time that works for you in your day and experiment with this. Like I know for me, I want to do it first thing in the morning. Well, of course, after my coffee. Let's be reasonable. Coffee first, and meditation. But it just really sets the tone for the day, Some people like to do it, what? The coffee does too. Yeah. Some people like to do it at the end of the day before they go to bed because it helps to relax so they can really fall asleep easily. Some people like to do it after they get home from work. It's just a de-stress. So whatever works for you, find the time that works for you and put it into your schedule and make it as routine as brushing your teeth. You wouldn't think to not brush your teeth every day. At least I hope not. Hopefully twice a day. All right? So after a while, you'll feel like, I can't miss my meditation. I don't want to miss my meditation. So finding that routine, that schedule. As Fillmore suggested, meditation helps us cultivate a relationship with our inner wisdom. Helps us listen to that still small voice. Listen to that our inner divine spirit. So meditation is more of a listening, receptive kind of activity. And affirmative prayer is more active. That's where we take what we experienced in meditation, what we've gotten from, divine wisdom, and we take it out into our lives. We call forth from the infinite, from infinite possibility, we call forth what we truly desire, what our heart desires. So one is listening, one is an activity for listening, the other is more speaking. And they work together hand in hand. They're designed to work together. You don't want one without the other because it's kind of, you're out of balance. So they work together. So let's talk about affirmative prayer now. And I know I've talked a lot here about affirmative prayer. Many of you have taken affirmative prayer classes. How many of you taken an affirmative prayer class? Yes. Again, online, if you've taken an affirmative prayer class, just hello. Yes, I have. So this is for you. It's going to be a little review. Maybe you'll hear something you'd never heard before. Maybe it'll re-engage your practice. But there's a lot of new people here. So I want to make sure we're on the same page. We're speaking the same language. All right, so remember last week we talked about how the universe really doesn't hear our words, really doesn't respond to our words or our thoughts. The universe responds to our vibration. The universe responds to our vibration. But we are creatures of language. And so our words can help guide us, guide our vibration into those higher realms. What I like to call the vibrational field of love. Into that vibrational field of love. This is where we begin to resonate with the realization of what we truly want. That's what the words, that's what the steps of affirmative prayer are set up to do. To take us into that vibrational, high vibration where we resonate with that. I like how Davenport points out in the book that the original Greek word logos, which is translated as word in the Bible, yes, it's word, but it's more than that. As she says, it connotes the creative power of thought. Logos connotes the creative power of thought, and even Webster defines it as divine wisdom manifest. It's divine wisdom manifest in the world. So that's when we approach affirmative prayer, this is the place we want to, do it from. The word I'm speaking now, divine wisdom manifest. Right? Divine wisdom that I've connected with in meditation. That divine wisdom, the creative power of my thought, that's what I'm engaging in this moment. All right, so now I'm going to go over the steps of affirmative prayer, and it's my take on the unity version of this. I have just a little spin on it. For instance, the first 3 steps of affirmative prayer, I feel, are more meditative. They're really kind of designed to get us in that energy, that vibrational, high vibrational state. So, first step, relaxation. We relax our physical body with the breath. Relax the physical body, we relax the mind chatter, we relax the to-do list, we relax our focus on the future. We relax into the present moment, relax into the heart center. We're also relaxing our attachment to the outer world of form and experience, the relative world, the temporary world of effect, because that's where the problem lives. We're going to leave that over there. And now, the second step is focus. I call it focus. I know Unity calls it concentration, but whenever I think of that word, it's like I feel a little tense. I got to concentrate. Focus is more I'm just focusing my attention in this direction. So now that we have released our attachment to the outer world of experience, we can move into a higher dimension, this higher realm, this dimension of the absolute, of infinite creative mind, of infinite spirit. And remember that we talked about this a couple weeks ago, we are an idea in the mind of the universe, God's idea of itself in expression. Right? So this is what we want to, I'm an idea in the mind of God. I'm God's idea. So that means that everything that is true of God, everything that's true of the universe is true of me. All of the qualities that are true of the universe are true of me. And this is where we begin to breathe into that and own it. And now the next step is contemplation, meditation. It says right there in the step. So you're taking that idea a little deeper. You're letting it kind of sink into the core. And just feel the qualities. There's a quality behind anything you could desire to have or do or experience. There's a quality to it that is already yours. So if I'm desiring a higher paying job where I'm more fulfilled or something where, it's better for me, what's the quality behind that? Abundance, right? Abundance is a divine quality. Fulfillment and that experience of fulfillment, expressing my unique talents and gifts, that's a divine quality. Expansion, maybe, that's a divine quality. A desire to, if you're doing an affirmative prayer around having a loving, committed relationship, the quality behind that is love, right? Joy. Maybe a sense of givingness. That's part of a relationship. That joy in giving. Right? What else? A desire to manifest a home, a nice, spacious home or something. If you're doing affirmative prayer for that, what's the divine quality of that? Expansion. What else? Joy. Yeah, safety. That's, a knowing that all is, when you're in there, you have that experience of knowing that all is well, an experience of love, certainly, we love, if it's something that we really want to be in, that love. So there's a divine quality behind everything that you could possibly, say that you desire, heart's desire, right? So you want to unify with the quality. Breathe that in, the quality. Okay, I'm connecting with it. I know that it's mine right now. I'm accepting it in this moment. I'm accepting this quality. We want to drink it in, like we're swimming in a pool of limitless good. And just drink that in. All right, so the next step is, I wanted to say Davenport says in the book, we project ourselves into that place of pure, positive energy and pray from a consciousness of God. We're praying from a consciousness of God. Remember, we left the problem over there a long time ago. We're praying from the consciousness of God. We're praying from the other side of the problem. So this is where we want to be. So the next step is realization. This is where you get to call forth the specific thing that you desire from, remember, that field of limitless good, of limitless potential. You're speaking your word, that creative power of thought, and calling it forth. And knowing, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, that desire, to feel desire, well, desire is the starting point of all creation. But also knowing that desire is like the universe knocking at the door of your consciousness, saying, here, this is yours. Let it in. Accept it. Accept it. And so we want to accept it. We want to accept it on every level of our being. We want to accept that it is ours now. How many of you have been watching the Olympics? Yeah? I know it's a little controversial this year. I get it. I want to support the athletes. So there is one athlete, Eileen Gu. Have you seen her? Gu is her last name. And she is a American citizen. She grew up in San Francisco. Her mother's Chinese. And so every summer as she's growing up, she has been going to China, to Beijing, where her mother is from, and spending time there and spending time with young girls and encouraging them, empowering them to say, you can do this too. You can be an athlete. You can participate in winter sports. You can do this. Take the limits off. You can do this. So this is her passion, is to empower young girls. The Chinese young girls. You can do this too. And so she's decided to compete for China this year. So it's like she's kind of her own individual bridging the political divide there. Yes. Anyway, her sport, or the one that I saw, was called Big Air. And it's free skiing. I don't know if you've seen this, Big Air. It's like it's a huge slope, like this gigantic slide of snow, and in the middle of the down, it's like a downhill. The middle of it there is a ramp, And so the skiers go and they hit the ramp and it shoots them into the air. And that's where they do all their tricks, all of the turns and twists and crazy, with the skis, and they have to touch their skis, and it's just amazing. It's like, I can't believe you're doing that. And then they end backwards. Sometimes they take off backwards. It's just amazing. So anyway, she was standing at the top of the run, and you know how the cameras, they get in so close. It's like, give them some space. They're in real close. But they were close enough that I could see, even with her goggles on, she had her eyes closed, and she was doing movements like this. That's right. At first I thought, ooh, God, she's got tics or something, But then I realized, yes, she's visualizing her run. She's doing it in her head. She's visualizing, how she's going to take off, how she's going to twist. And just when I realized that was what was happening, the announcer said, oh, Eileen spends an hour a day visualizing her runs. An hour a day. And all good athletes do? They spend a long time doing the actual practice, but they spend a long time visualizing because they know the power of visualization. So this is what we want to do. This is where the space that we want to be in this step, realization. We're activating our power of imagination, activating our power of visualization. We're walking through the realization of our good. Getting it in our body, just feeling it, seeing ourselves walking through, feeling our way into it. What does it look like? What am I doing? What am I experiencing? That power of visualization is so, it can't be overstated. The last step is gratitude. Gratitude, And remember, you're not like, oh, thank you, God, for finally hearing my prayer. No, you're praying from a place of gratitude. That energy of gratitude. It's like, oh, I'm so grateful for the realization of who I truly am. The reawakening of my consciousness that what I desire is already mine. I'm grateful that it is already here, already mine. I don't have to manipulate events. I don't have to make it happen. I don't have to wish or hope or even wait. I need only accept that it is mine. I'm so grateful for that realization. So that energy, allow that energy of gratitude to really carry you. The other part of this is release. So you want to release this, that the word you just spoke, and you release it to the universe, right? You've done your part. You're releasing it. You're also releasing the attachment to the specific way you think it should show up in your life, Leave a little space there for the universe to, maybe it looks a little different, but this is the quality. Just allow that to happen. And so when you finish the affirmative prayer, you should be feeling joyful, excited. That joyous anticipation. Remember I talked about that in December, like a kid at Christmas. Joyous anticipation. That's what you want to feel at the end of that. And then pay attention. Here's the other thing. Pay attention to the stuff that begins to show up, right? You're listening to divine guidance in meditation. You're following it into action. You're going to start experiencing synchronicities. Things are going to show up. You're going to see things. It amazes me, though, how many people just don't even pay attention to that. They don't recognize. It's like, don't you know that this synchronous event is the answer? It's part of it. It's starting to happen. We want to be grateful and recognize all of the small stuff that is starting to happen that are coalescing around this heart's desire. All right, so these are the 2 steps that we've got. Meditation, 2 tools, meditation, affirmative prayer. You know, what we're doing here, we're engaging in this creative, playful activity that helps to helps to realize that we are creative beings. And using these together with this sense of love and gratitude, that's how we live our full divine potential. Next week, we're going to be talking about the 5th step, how we take all this out into the world. It's a very important part of this, so don't miss that. All right, namaste.